In your headlines, we take a look at the new unemployment insurance benefit program and how it works. And the Department of Disaster Management and Emergencies will be hosting its third Hurricane Preparedness Exposition. From the PTV Broadcasting Headquarters in Providenciales, your number one source for news, I'm Erica Penales, delivering the latest from across the country this Friday, June 24th, 2022, right to your door. Newswatch starts now. The Department of Disaster Management and Emergencies will be hosting its third Hurricane Preparedness Exposition on July 1st, 2022. We bring you the details. From 10 a.m. at the Town Center Mall parking lot downtown Providenciales, the Department of Disaster Management and Emergencies will be hosting its third Hurricane Preparedness Exposition. The Hurricane Preparedness Expo will feature booths from over 25 different agencies, partners, and public safety officials this year. The event provides critical stakeholders with roles in disaster management an opportunity to interact with the public, demonstrate their services, and guide individuals and businesses on how they can prepare for this hurricane season. The goal as we gather is to ensure residents are ready should a hurricane impact our region by offering a one-stop shop for the general public to gather helpful information and ask their hurricane and storm-related questions. All residents are invited to come out and participate in this preparedness event. The event is free, fun, and educational, with tons of giveaways, including the chance to win a Graceway Smart Supermarket Hurricane Supplies shopping spree on July 1st, 2022. This venture also encompasses the principles of public-private partnership as it demonstrates the disaster risk reduction commitment of the private sector in the Turks and Caicos Islands. It also highlights the public sector department's determination to ensure all major entities are involved in its goal of building a resilient country. So there you have it, Turks and Caicos. This hurricane season doesn't have to catch you by surprise, as the Hurricane Preparedness Expo will be on Friday, July 1st, 2022 at the Town Hall Center Mall parking lot downtown in Providenciales from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. under the theme Mission Ready, Pledge to Prepare, Be Smart, Take Part. The DDME says they look forward to the participation of as much residents as possible. In this next story, we dig deep into the National Insurance Board's new unemployment insurance benefit program to understand how it really works. Here's more. In November 2020, in response to the unfavorable prevailing economic impact of COVID-19 on the working population of the Turks and Caicos Islands, the National Insurance Board introduced a temporary unemployment benefit assistance program, otherwise known as TUBAP. This benefit allowed eligible persons who had become involuntarily unemployed due to the fallout of COVID-19 to receive 50% of their average weekly insurable earnings up to a maximum of 8 weeks paid as a lump sum. The purpose of providing this benefit was to alleviate the financial burdens of many unemployed and underemployed persons, as possible as hundreds of employers and self-employed persons at that time had temporarily or indefinitely closed their doors, laid off staff, introduced shift work systems, reduced hours or days of work, introduced work from home operations. During the period of November 2020 to November 2021, the National Insurance Board paid out over $3.9 million in temporary unemployment benefit assistance to some 2,621 persons throughout the Turks and Caicos Islands without any increase in the contribution rate. Although a temporary benefit based on the response from the NIB's beneficiaries, reportedly, they agree that this benefit was indeed very timely and greatly appreciated, providing a life-saving source of funds for many who were unable to make ends meet at the time to pay electricity, rent, mortgage, personal loans, or put food on their tables. As a responsible and caring social security institution, the NIB say they must continue to make decisions in the best interest of their contributors and beneficiaries, promising to be proactive rather than reactive, prepared and positioned to protect their working population from the future temporary losses of employment through no fault of their own. Accordingly, on April 1st, 2022, the National Insurance Board reinforced that same unemployment safety net by introducing the permanent phase of the TUBAP, the Unemployment Insurance Benefit Program. This new benefit allows unemployed workers who have become involuntarily unemployed an even greater level of coverage and increases the number of their income replacement benefits. This additional benefit will attract a modest increase of an additional 1%, which is already included in the total 2% increase of the April 1st, 2022 contribution rate. Find out what the 10 most frequently asked questions and answers are regarding this benefit in our succeeding newscast. It's time for a quick break. More News Watch when we return.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
On Thursday, the House of Assembly debated and passed the Grand Turk Enhancement and Sustainability Agency Bill. Details on the provisions of the bill in this report.
The government is taking steps to revitalize the history and culture of the nation's capital, with initial steps now being taken to establish a dedicated agency that will oversee this transformation and preservation. Premier the Honorable Charles Misick presented a bill to the House of Assembly on Thursday that will see the formation of the Grand Turk Enhancement and Sustainability Agency.
So, Clause 1 is a preliminary, Part 1 deals with the preliminary aspects of the bill. Clause 1 and 2 provide the short title, Commencement and Interpretation. And Part 2 deals with the meat of the matter, the Grand Turk Enhancement and Sustainability Agency. And this establishes Grand Turk Enhancement and Sustainability Agency as a corporate body with legal personality and provides the standard provisions and applicable to corporate bodies. 5 and 6 provides for the objects, functions, and powers of the agency. And Clause 7 establishes the Board of Directors of the agency, whilst Clause 8, 9, 10, and 11 makes provision for the qualifications to appointment as directors, the removal and resignation from office, and the filling of vacancies. Clause 12 provides for the committees of the board, whilst Clause 13 makes provision for the remuneration, allowance, and expenses to be paid to a director of or member of a committee. Then Part 3 deals with meetings and proceedings of the board, and Clause 15 and 16 provides for the disclosure of interest of any director. Clause 17 provides for the submission of particulars of declaration by directors to the IC, Integrity Commission, while Clause 18 makes provision to validate decisions made at any meeting where, amongst others, there are a vacancy in the board of members. The board or members were absent.
The agency will have a board of directors made up of people from the community to deal with specialty areas such as preserving the island's historical architecture, among other things. The Premier further detailed how funding will be applied to and through the agency.
I think from the financial and project selection process provisions in the bill, which comes under Part 5, I would like to kind of just recap for the public what this entails, because this is how the funding aspect of the agency is to be undertaken. This part deals with the financial and project selection process provisions where Clause 23 provides for where the funds of the agency are derived from and can be applied to. The funds will mainly come from the cruise ship passenger fee, currently $16, which shall be the combined developer's contribution of $1.50 plus the government's contribution of $1.50 per passenger for passenger volumes over 300,000 annually, which will necessitate a full contribution of $3 per passenger per passenger to the fund and any other passenger on any other ship. In other words, currently we have Carnival calling in, and under that agreement, there's a $3 per head that will be paid into this fund. But that will also be the case if there are any other cruise ships calling into the country, into Grand Turk. I want to point out that this bill is dealing exclusively with Grand Turk. To the extent in the future, if cruise vessels are calling anywhere else in the Turks and Caicos Islands, that will be the subject of a completely different matter or bill if necessary. So that is where the money is coming from, and that is how it's going to be applied based on the arguments or the statements that I made previously.
Premier Mizik also detailed how projects will be selected and approved under the bill.
Clause 28 sets out the project selection and approval process. This is very critical, very important, and this is why it has to be derogated from government to the local community from whom the board of directors will be made up. So Clause 28 sets out the project selection and approval process for projects and services. Projects and services may be proposed to the agency by ministries and departments of government, non-governmental organizations, community-based organizations, or from members of the public. And Clause 29 provides for transparency and accountability.
The Premier says this has been a long time coming for the nation's capital, a sentiment that many in the House agreed with, leading to a smooth passage of the bill. For PTV News Watch, I am Delana Als.
Almost a month into the 2022 hurricane season, and Newswatch has gotten a preliminary list for hurricane shelters across the country. Here's the latest.
The 2022 tentative storm shelter list at the moment has a total of 23 shelters across the Turks and Caicos Islands, and officials say this list is subject to change. Good news is that the number of shelters has increased over the last few years with bigger, stronger, and more modern structures, and the Department of Disaster Management and Emergencies has been working diligently to ensure preparedness. Some shelters listed on the preliminary breakdown is as follows. In Salt Key, the George Bean Memorial Hall and Clubhouse Shelter in the South District. For Grand Turk, Eliza Simons Primary School and H.J. Robinson High School. In South Caicos Community Center, Sarah Hill and New Testament Church. In North Caicos, Q Community Center and the Adelaide Omler Primary School. Middle Caicos, Conkbar Community Center and Mount Moriah Baptist Church. Providenciales, the All Saints Mission Church, Enid Capron Primary, the A. Louise Garland Thomas High, and the Gustavus Lightbourne Sports Complex. And these are just a few of the listings, which again is subject to change. It is important to note that all shelters will not be opened at the same time and will take on a staggered approach. Officials say they remain strict with COVID-19 risk mitigation measures while sheltering takes place in the event of a storm.
The reality is COVID is still with us. Within our shelter management training, we have been putting measures in place to train our shelter managers to be able to test for COVID. And in the shelter itself, if anybody, while testing before they enter, we discovered that they are infected by COVID, we have a location within the shelter to quarantine them from the rest of the population. We still will be requiring a person to bring their mask and use sanitization as well. So those are things we have in place since last year.
The official 2022 shelter list will be issued shortly. The public is also invited to a Hurricane Preparedness Expo on Friday, July 1st, 2022 at the Town Center Mall parking lot from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Newswatch will have more from the DDME on this venture in a subsequent newscast.
Don't touch that remote. We'll be right back. Coming up next is your Sports Authority and weather forecast.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Here's the latest in your Sports Authority and weather forecast.
The fund is designed to support development of local athletes with a special emphasis on high-performance development. In attendance at a symposium this week to launch the fund were young athletes, their parents, coaches, and administrators. The event was an engaging one in which athletes and their parents were encouraged to share their views on what is needed for athletic development in the country and ask questions of the 2 facilitators. The 2 facilitators were Dave Farmer, a former director of the National Olympic Academy of Barbados, and Professor Colin Higgs, National Canadian Sports Consultant. A parent in attendance asked about diets that aid athletes' smooth transition through schools and which one would be most beneficial.
Technically, there is very little evidence that anything other than a balanced diet makes that much difference to athletic performance. I'll be very clear about this. A decent diet will supply everything that an athlete needs. A poor diet will prevent an elite athlete from performing at the highest level. And so I know of almost no programs anywhere where there are nutrition programs in what I would call government state schools that are directed at athletes specifically. The focus is much more on good, sound nutrition. Where we have a problem is typically with females, where there is a huge emphasis placed in some sport on not gaining weight. That is exceptionally harmful. And we are in a position now, and I'll say this, in Canada, where we're trying very hard to not focus on weight, to simply focus for our athletes on good, sound nutrition, taking in enough food to fuel the activity that people are involved in, because it's too easy to drive people into disordered eating problems if the focus is on weight. Yesterday, I say this to parents, if you're reading the news, if you look at a report that was reported in BBC on gymnastics in the United Kingdom, it was released yesterday, there's a huge emphasis on the damage done to young athletes by insisting on them losing weight, not gaining weight, not gaining weight, not gaining weight. And so, it's an issue to which there's no simple solution.
Professor Higgs also addressed athletic scholarships and why parents and athletes should carefully consider the schools before accepting any scholarships.
As for how you transition from primary to secondary is generally the least difficult transition. Secondary to tertiary becomes an issue depending on which is more important to the individual, the athletic progress or the academic progress. Do you in fact choose a bad school with a good athletic program or a good school that doesn't have quite so strong a program? That's an individual decision about which I can do nothing. Clearly, for a lot of people, there is a desire out there to get a scholarship to a US university or a Canadian university, and that's legitimate. I support that. But simply ask that people be very careful about what scholarships they accept and what is included in the scholarship. Some schools will offer you a scholarship, but if you don't make the team, they take it away. Some will offer you a scholarship and you get injured, you're gone. Some will offer you a scholarship, you get injured, and they'll carry you for the rest of the 4 years. There are big differences in the scholarships. Who's paying for the medical insurance? Is the school paying or are you paying? Who's paying for tuition? Are they putting you in a dormitory that is for athletes where you have to pay a supplement to have the kid there? There's a lot of variables. So while I absolutely commend anybody who is hoping for and looking for a scholarship to pursue their athletic career, I just say be aware that not all scholarships are equal, and you really need to know what you're signing up for when you go that route.
Persons wishing to contribute to the fund can contact the Sports Commission. For PTV News Watch, I'm Delana Alves.
Here's your 3-day weather forecast. For the nation's capital, Grand Turk, on Saturday, partly cloudy skies, high 84, low 79, wind south-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. On Sunday, partly cloudy skies, high 85, low 79, wind southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. On Monday, partly cloudy skies, high 85, low 79, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For South Caicos on Saturday, partly cloudy skies, high 84, low 79, wind south-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. On Sunday, partly cloudy skies, high 85, low 79, winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And on Monday, partly cloudy skies, high 85, low 79, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For North and Middle Caicos on Saturday, partly cloudy skies, high 86, low 79, winds south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Sunday, partly cloudy skies again, high 86, low 79, winds southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And on Monday, partly cloudy skies, high 85, low 79, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For Parrot and Pine Key on Saturday, partly cloudy skies, high 84, low 81, winds south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Sunday, partly cloudy skies, high 85, low 79, winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. On Monday, partly cloudy skies, high 86, low 79, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. And on Providenciales on Saturday, partly cloudy skies, high 84, low 81, winds south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Sunday, partly cloudy skies, high 85, low 79, winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And on Monday, partly cloudy skies, high 86, low 79, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Now for your sunrise and sunset. Sunrise 6:09 a.m., sunset 7:36 p.m. And for your high tides and low tides, high tides 5:50 a.m., 6:17 p.m., and low tides 11:48 a.m., 11:48 p.m. And for your hurricane outlook for the North Atlantic, Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico, a tropical wave located over the eastern tropical Atlantic continues to produce a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear conducive for development of this system over the next few days. A tropical depression could form during the early to middle part of next week, while it moves westward at around 15 miles per hour over the tropical Atlantic and approaches the Windward Islands. And that's it for your weather forecast and hurricane outlook. We'll be right back for more News Watch.
Here at People's Television, we're more than just your leading news and entertainment services. We are
spreading the gospel.
We are breaking barriers.
We are preserving the culture. Each one, teach one.
We are committed to excellence.
We're creating change.
We are creating memories.
We are the future.
I am PTV.
I am PTV. I am PTV.
I am PTV.
We are PTV.
We are continuing the legacy. We are PTV.
This story has so much valid information that we thought we'd run it again just in case you missed it.
A total of 138 passengers, 98 males and 40 females, including a child, were intercepted after marine operations identified a vessel approximately 5 miles northwest of Provo on June 22nd. Upon inspection, officials noticed the degree of unsafety aboard the vessel, as it was said to have been severely overcrowded and passengers were not wearing life vests. The operation was joined by a second crew of Marine officers and the TCI regiment, who would make the decision to offload at sea, contrary to their usual dock, disembark, and detainment procedures. This to ensure the safety of the vessel's occupants. One male passenger sustained an injury to one of his legs and required immediate medical attention, as others were transported to the South Dock Detention Center to be processed and eventually repatriated, which cost the Turks and Caicos Islands government thousands of dollars per repatriation exercise, millions of dollars in fees per year.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of The Real News. I hate to leave you so soon, but of course, you can join us right back here every weekday at 6:30 p.m. and tap into our social media platforms at www.ptv8tci.com. I'm Erica Penales, keeping you informed, updated, and affiliated. Until next time.